Right now at 6, Colorado students and teachers are on high alert from the Texas school shooting.
There are times I go home and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this job anymore.
Those feelings were amplified today after threats at 2 schools in the metro.
You're supposed to think like, oh, it's okay, like I'm going to get my education, not to think that people are going to come in and try to like take your life away from you.
Tonight we have a 360 in-depth look at safety in our children's schools and the mental health toll it has on teachers.
I think people are over, just thoughts or kind words, and we really want to see action.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. So the end of the school year is usually fun, carefree time. This year, though, it's ending with high anxiety.
Tonight we have a 360 in-depth look at the impact the Uvalde's Texas school shooting is having on teachers and students right here in Colorado. Today, that anxiety was put to the test at 2 metro high schools. Northfield High School in Denver's Central Park neighborhood was put on lockdown this morning after reports of a student with a gun.
Now, police found it actually ended up being a paintball gun, but still, students and teachers at Northfield High were understandably shaken after what happened in Texas.
There's a lot of young people dying, and it's scary because it happens like every single day. And like to know that like my sister was inside of that school when that was going on, like that's even more scary to me.
Recently with like all the shootings and stuff, I feel like it was like safe to say I assumed that there was a shooting going on or there's like a shooter, because with the amount of cops flying past me on this road and like all the cops already, and I saw people rushing in with guns like behind each other like SWAT.
Denver police say their priority was making sure parents knew their children were safe, and 2 people were taken into custody.
About an hour after that incident was reported at Northfield High, a threat was made at Cherry Creek High School. Police say a person from out of state posted on social media that they wanted to, quote, shoot up the school. Cherry Creek High campus, middle school, and Bellevue Elementary were all put on a secure perimeter, and at last check, police were still working to identify the person who made that threat.
And both of these incidents, compounded with the school shooting in Texas, are taking such a toll on students and teachers.
Yesterday at 6, we explored the resources available to get your kids help. Well, tonight, we're focused on help for teachers.
And Denver 7's Megan Lopez shares the perspective of 2 teachers who say something has to change to prioritize their safety.
All it takes is one word.
Again, it's devastating each time. It never gets easier each time.
One word to sum up all the fear and trauma that comes with another school shooting. Again.
And it keeps happening. And you just start to get a little battle worn.
Again, because teachers have been through this so many times before.
So my name is Stacy Hervey, and I'm also a full-time high school teacher. There's a lot more to this job than when I first signed up 22 years ago.
Again, because they know the drill.
Every day I check the door to my classroom to make sure it's locked.
We do active shooter lockdown drills on a constant basis.
A balloon goes off and you kind of wait. It wasn't just a balloon. We had a transformer blow in the neighborhood a few weeks ago, and there's always that first instinct is at gunfire.
Again and again and again.
Reach a point where you almost feel numb to this, but also you reach a point where you are angry, you are filled with rage.
This is our 6th cycle that we are suspended in as a community.
Frankly, I've heard from so many of them that they're tired of having to bear that burden.
There are times I go home and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this job anymore.
Are educators coping one more time with the fact that their peers died protecting their students, and with the certainty that they do the same?
And I've had that conversation with my own children, that I would lay my life down for a student here. And that was hard for them to hear, but I know their own teachers have told them that too.
These are the heroes of our times.
Certainly they are heroes and do heroic things every single day, but we're also not superhuman.
These feelings are normal.
Perfectly normal to be wondering whether you need formal help or not.
These tragedies are not, no matter how many times they happen. For teachers,
I don't want kids growing up in a world where it's normal anymore. I don't want kids having to hide in their classrooms.
All it takes is one word. Again, because there almost certainly will be another. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
So what is being done to make sure schools here in Colorado are safe? This past legislative session, state lawmakers passed House Bill 1243. It creates a fund to help improve school safety and behavioral health services across our state. The bill allocates $6 million for school safety and $2 million for behavioral health. That money is coming from the American Rescue Plan Act.
And some argue that arming teachers would improve school safety. The group Faster Colorado prepares teachers and school staff who already have concealed carry licenses for a school shooting. Now, the group says since Tuesday, parents, administrators, staff, and school boards from 20 Colorado school districts have already reached out about their training. Since the end of last year, Faster Colorado says it's trained 250 school staff in 37 Colorado districts.
Let's get back to some of those resources that are available for your kids. This week, Aurora Police became the first agency to partner with the state's I Matter program. This program was launched last fall. It provides up to 6 free virtual counseling sessions for those 18 or younger. Joshua Nicholas manages community relations for Aurora Police. He says the agency has ordered signs, brochures, and other handouts in hope to connect community members with this program.
You know, we've held several different town hall events over the last 6 months in response to youth violence here in Aurora. And a recurring theme that we've heard from youth, from parents and educators is that our youth need a safe space to talk to adults about the problems that they're facing.
And you can learn more about that program, imattercolorado.org. There are also Spanish-speaking counselors available, and you can read up on other resources available for both kids and teachers right now on thedenverchannel.com.
Residents in Denver's Globeville neighborhood want more green space, and they thought they had the perfect plan to get some. And we told you about the fight over this plot of land near Washington and I-70 last night. It's owned by CDOT. Denver city leaders say CDOT offered to hand the land over to them, but then they backed out. A lot of you had a lot of questions after our story aired, so tonight Denver 7's Micah Smith has your answers.
For more than a year, Globeville resident Joseph Herrera has been fighting to turn this vacant CDOT-owned lot behind his home into a park.
We would like to see a public park with trees and grass to help out filter out the smoke.
Herrera recently learned CDOT is selling the land at 4601 Washington Street in a sealed bid auction, and the city of Denver wants it.
I will say that the city did submit a bid today.
But Denver Director of Real Estate Lisa Lumley says the $1.08 million asking price was too high for the city, and a lower bid was submitted.
By virtue of us submitting the bid, that is our, certainly in a sign of good faith, our attempt to try to acquire the parcel.
If Denver wins the bid, Lumley says they'll ask residents what they need most in that space. But Green Latino Colorado State Director Ian Tafoya says many residents have already communicated neighborhood needs.
And there's a lot of evidence and cool science out there about densely planting, in particular evergreens, so that all throughout the year they're pushing the pollution higher into the air, serving as a buffer.
Tafoya supports planting a tree lawn on the lot and was a part of a group of Northeast Denver residents who sued the state over the I-70 expansion and its environmental impact on the neighborhood.
We actually won thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for tree plantings.
CDOT has cited plans to build a park in the neighborhood on top of I-70 2 miles away. But Tafoya and several other neighbors say that won't bring relief to those living on this side of Globeville.
And the whole point is for us to expand our open space.
Tafoya says this is an equity issue, and he hopes city and state leaders keep public health in mind while negotiating a land price. Reporting in Globeville, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
Well, CDOT has 90 days to go through the bids before announcing just who will acquire the land. A spokesperson for the governor's office says they're dedicated to increasing green space in our state, but say it's unfortunate that some have chosen to point fingers rather than follow the facts, which is that part of this land is owned by the city and county of Denver, and CDOT is required to sell this land by law, and it was offered to all political subdivisions, but none, including Denver, stepped up.
There is currently a nationwide search for a Longmont man wanted on 9 felony charges connected to human trafficking and soliciting child prostitution. Take a look at your screen. This is 34-year-old Andrew Rosa. He was last seen driving a blue Jeep Compass with Colorado plate CRY 328. Police say there is a nationwide extradition for Rosa, so if you have any information, call police immediately.
State health officials have identified the first presumptive case of monkeypox in Colorado. CDPHE says a person who acquired the virus recently traveled to Canada, where an outbreak is currently underway. Health officials say it's a young man who sought care in the Denver area. He is isolating at home. His condition is improving. Also, this is important, the state says the risk to the public remains low.
We could all use a little love right now.
We fell in love, and we're still in love.
And this love story also comes with a lesson we can all carry forward.
Today, it's more of a me, and rather than what can we do for others. But I think they'll learn. I've got confidence in the young people today.
These 80s felt good today. There's more on the way. Will they last for the entire holiday weekend?